Hi, my name's Rob Miller. I'm the director of the Cuba Solidarity Campaign. We're here with two members of the Miami Five, René, Gonazalez and Gerardo Hernández. The British people have worked tirelessly for 16 years for this moment, and we're very, very honoured and proud that the men are here to celebrate with us their justice, their freedom.
I was in Miami protecting the life of the Cuban people against terrorism. It seems like for some people, the life of a Cuban worker has the same value as the life of a miner in England for some other people. So for them, it was good that some people practice terrorism against Cuba. And for watching on those terrorists, we were thrown in prison in the United States.
We are living this privilege of sharing this magnificent event with you is again thanks to many people around the world and to many people in Britain that never let us down. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Have you been travelling very much since you were released?
I have to tell you that South Africa was incredible. It came as a surprise to us, and it's so beautiful to see how they don't forget the role that Cuba played on the Southern Africa during the war against apartheid. And the same goes for Namibia and Angola.
The British government denied the Miami Five visas for over 2 years, and it was the only country in the world, obviously apart from the United States, that denied these men the right to come here, and that was under direct pressure from the United States, and it took 11 different court hearings before we managed to get the visas for the five.
I always think campaigns and politics are a mixture of head and heart, and this was a campaign that we knew intellectually was wrong. We looked at the trial, we looked at the cases, and this is wrong. Across the world people said it was wrong. We had Amnesty International saying the trials were flawed, and we got behind that. But as Tony knows, this was also about our hearts, and we were with you all the way.
I had 2 life sentences, lost 15 years. I was supposed to be right now sitting in the maximum security prison. And I was mentioning the other day, people ask me, aren't you sad? Aren't you mad for the time they robbed you of your life? And I said, no, I look at it the other way. I'm robbing them time right now while I'm here. I'm robbing them time from the 2 life sentences that I have to serve according to their plan. And the reason I'm able to do that is because of you, because of the support of all of you. The plan was to be able to use some people against the Cuban Revolution. And when they didn't get us to cooperate with those plans, then you know the history. 12 years without letting us to see our wives. 22 months in solitary confinement, etc. They were very upset for the fact that they couldn't break us and they couldn't buy us.
And I want to recognise here the role of our former General Secretary, Tony Woodley. Tony drove this campaign and led the British trade union movement to supporting the case with incredible energy and determination. Tony also visited Gerardo and Ramon and René in prison. Unite members across the country, many of you here today, wrote to the 5 in prison, attended vigils, signed petitions, and took their case and their families to the heart of this union.
The hatred that we faced was unbearable, and they were determined for us to comply with our full sentences, including the 2 life sentences they had imposed on Gerardo. And fighting against such hatred takes a lot of strength, of forces, and we have to say here that a great deal of those forces and of that strength came from Britain, and especially from the Cuban Solidarity Campaign and from the British unions, starting with Unite and the rest of the British unions.
I remember the days when I was sitting in prison in the visiting room with our dear brother Tony Woodley, and we have very little hope. And that man used to tell me, keep the strength, keep fighting. You got many people in the world supporting you, not only in Cuba. And he explained to me what United Union was and how many membership you have. And he explained to me that despite all your struggles, you had also decided to support the Miami 5. I would like to take the opportunity to thank Tony Woodley, to thank our dear friend Tony there, our brother Len McCloskey, all the leadership of United Union, Cuba Solidarity Campaign, and all the membership of United Union for all your support through so many years.
What are we going to do? Thank you.
Que fueran tantos años de lucha.
But we never imagined it would be so many years of struggle.
Pero poco a poco empezaron a llegar los resultados.
But slowly the results started to come in.
Amnistía hizo una declaración final.
Amnesty made a final declaration
totalmente parecida hecha por uno de los abogados de la defensa.
that sounded really like a statement from one of our defense lawyers.
A través de la campaña se unieron muchos países.
On account of CSC, a lot of other countries joined in.
Y ustedes siguieron trayendo familiares.
And you carried on bringing family members over to here.
Vino Adriana muchísimas veces.
Came many times.
Vinieron las demás esposas.
The other wives came.
Ustedes trajeron a las madres.
You brought the mothers over.
Trajeron a los hijos.
You brought the children over.
Después pasó el tiempo y vimos que la cosa se ponía bastante negra.
As the time went on, things did start to look a bit dark.
A tal punto que René le llegó el momento final de su condena.
Up to the point of the end of René's prison sentence.
Y no habíamos logrado la justicia.
We still hadn't obtained justice.
Entonces ustedes dijeron, vamos a traer a René.
And then you said, let's bring René.
No se pudo, pero lo trajeron por Skype.
You couldn't, but he was present by Skype.
Siguieron y siguieron junto a nosotros hasta lograr la victoria final.
You stayed with us until we achieved the final victory.
La victoria final es la liberación de los 5.
The final victory is the freedom of the 5.
I'm sure that the U.S. government they would have been happy if we were terrorists. They would have been happy if instead of going to the U.S. to stop terrorism against Cuba, we would have gone there with a spirit of revenge. Let's go and kill Americans. Let's go and kill people because they are damaging you. But unfortunately for them, we have different principles. And those are the principles that made it possible for so many people like you to rally in favor of our cause. And we have to keep fighting for those principles because those are the principles that make us intelligent people. Those are the principles that make us humans. And those are the only principles that can take humanity to the world that for so many centuries and for so many millennia, so many people have dreamed of. A world of peace, of solidarity, and love. I can tell you that we're going to go back to Cuba with the assurance that that world can be built. And that assurance comes from all of you. Thank you very much.
But in the case of Britain, the campaign lasted 16 years. And every time it was my birthday, or any of the 5 birthdays, anytime it was an important day for the Cuban Revolution, anytime it was Christmas, you got the people in prison, the guards, crazy. Because there were bags of letters. And something I remember with a lot of love was that you always started your letter saying, I am a member of CSC. And there was a lot of pride in that phrase. I could feel it. I am a member of Cuban Solidarity Campaign. It don't matter where, in London, in Manchester, in Durham. We were able to feel the pride that you took in saying, I am a member of Cuba Solidarity Campaign. To all of you that have your own problems at home, your own struggles to fight, and even though said, I'm gonna join this fight, you were able to recognize that it was a just cause, and you dedicated your efforts to that cause. For that, we really, really, really thank you.
In 1834, the Tolpuddle martyrs said, "We will be free." Well, after 16 years imprisonment in the United States and 16 years of tireless campaigning by their families, by Solidarity, human rights and trade union groups, 5 Cuban citizens known as the Miami Five are free.
The General Secretary of UNICEF.
I lay this wreath on behalf of the Labour Party and of everyone that believes in the human spirit and the fight for human justice.
On behalf of the Miami Five and our families and the trade unions of Cuba, honoring the sacrifice they made for humanity.
Here we are discovering a people that has so much in common with us. We went to Durham. We saw those banners, like we see these banners here. We saw the spirit. And then we discovered really what was the spirit that drove the solidarity of the British people toward the Five.
For those of you that might not be aware, we were 5 revolutionary Cubans that infiltrated terrorist groups operating in Florida against our country. For more than half a century, those groups have been carrying out attacks against our people with total impunity. Because those who said to have a war against terrorism have been tolerated for many years, those terrorists operating freely in their territory. For them, they are good terrorists and bad terrorists. Our case shows the power of unity and the power of solidarity. Solidarity forever. Thank you so very much.
The people of Britain should be proud of the work of solidarity they've done over 16 years. The British trade unions, the members of Parliament, the members and affiliates of the Cuba Solidarity Campaign, who have worked so hard for 16 years for these men's freedom and for justice, for the Five and for the Cuban people. The struggle needs to continue. We need to end the blockade, which still goes on, and we need to return Guantanamo Bay to the people of Cuba. So we need to all come together to continue the fight, to continue that struggle for sovereignty, for dignity, and for justice for the Cuban people. Viva Cuba!